to Maribelle. Karen, if you would kind of sort of take a bow, and we will play with the distance to the camera. Let your hands kind of be close to the camera or further away from the camera. Yes. Okay. Okay. So we're warming up just a little bit with our acknowledgments. I will. It's a few minutes after our formal start time, after 6 p.m. I see. I see. We have Amanda is highlighting the CD. Yes. If you've not already purchased a Maribelle Holmes CD, these are available for sale. And throughout our next 40 minutes or so, the length of our show, perhaps it'll go to an hour, we'll find out. But we will let you know how you might purchase your very own CD for yourself and also perhaps for your loved ones, because I heard a rumor that there are some holidays coming up. Unconfirmed so far, but you may want to get more than one CD for others. I think when I say the backstage is on stage for certain kinds of spontaneous performance, Maribelle, may I say a moment of perhaps how we met, how we know one another, a little bit of context by way of introducing you.
Yes, please. I'd love that.
Maribelle and actually some other faces that I see in our Zoom. Yes, there is Kolya is present. Thank you so much for being here, Kolya. We met at an open mic that ran for about 10 years at the Innisfree Cafe and Poetry Bookstore. This is, for those who know a little of Boulder, it's on the hill in Boulder, very close to the CU Boulder campus. And the Innisfree Cafe and the lovely owners who ran it were very supportive of performing arts and local poets. And every Tuesday night, we would come to the Innisfree Cafe and do our 3, 4, 5 minutes of original performing arts. Some people might bring a ukulele or a guitar. Many people brought their notebooks or even just their phones and would do their original poetry, and sometimes I would see it as their theater monologues on the small platform stage of the Innisfree Cafe. I know Maribelle and Kolya, and we'll see other faces appear from the Innisfree Cafe literally for years. You might call us regulars at the Innisfree. It was just a very loving, supportive place. And sadly, it's a bit in the past tense, because given the pandemic, it becomes very difficult for restaurants and cafes to survive. And they've only in the past month or two, they have closed their doors. However, my understanding is they continue as an online bookstore and a place for special online events. So probably in the chat, I could put their website, or actually those who are listening, if you would Google Innisfree Cafe, you'll find their website, and I strongly recommend you're supporting them. If again, if you'd like to purchase perhaps a gift of poetry books, support the Innisfree Cafe. Another place that we know each other is Block 1750, and yet another place that is worthy of your support. The block is a dance school, a hip-hop center, a very creative community space with a beautiful dance floor and a living room area where on Wednesday nights, Maribelle and Kolya and literally dozens of other performing artists and writers would come for what was called writer's block. And a volunteer leader would lead writer's block each evening, Wednesday night. And now that has kind of translated or metamorphosized into something online that we might also put into the chat. And I invite those familiar with it to type that in. So I don't want to be dominating this, this celebration of Maribelle's creativity and music. So Maribelle, would you like to say a few words before introducing your first song?
Sure. So thank you all for being here first. This is a big deal for me. It's been a long time coming. I definitely didn't think it would happen as fast as it did. I started this whole process in July, and now we are here with physical CDs, and I'm super excited, and a bunch of you have already gotten them, and I am excited to hear all of your feedback. And this first song is the first song I ever wrote. It is one that I hold dear to me, but I'm kind of ready to like let it fly in the world and be done with it. It is partially from Innisfree, the writing of it, like the poetry bit. And then the song part is when I finally started to learn how to play about 2 years ago in Boulder with my first roommate, Saren, who is also an amazing musician and out in the world now. And so with that, now you get to hear my first ever written song, Shining Star. And my mom's going to share that.
Don't try to keep me in the dark, baby, I'm your shining star. I'll take you places you ain't been before. I'll take care of your heart. And I know that you've been hurt before, but I won't let you fall no more. I'm here to tell you there's more. If you just open your door, I'll be wherever you are. Tell me, what are you waiting for? Is it something that I've done, or am I really not enough? Or is it none of the above? Maybe you're just scared of love. Watch me shine right through your dark. Put back the pieces of your heart. Why can't you see? That's all I want. See, there's only one true love. Could I be your only one? I'll do whatever it takes, whatever you want. Just leave our futures up to fate. I see you trying to pull away, but that won't keep you safe. You need to take a leap of faith. Don't make the same mistakes. Keep me in the dark and things will never change. Bring me to the light. Be honest, be brave. Don't make me feel this way. I hid away, that's not the only way. Let me just say, you make me feel insane. Screaming loud, but no one can hear me. This world's deaf to my pain. But you make it go away when you're there. And when you're not there, I'm impaired. Sick of hoping you might be proud. Sick of hoping you'll take me out. Meet all your friends as your new girlfriend, and not just some girl sleeping in your bed. Let's just stop this whole charade. I won't be hidden away, and this is the last time you'll hear me say it. Don't don't try to keep me in the dark. Baby, I'm your shining star. I'll make you feel things you ain't felt before. I'll take care of your heart. And honey, don't be dumb, I can be your only one. You just gotta trust, allow lust to become love. Love lights the way every day, and every single moment it's okay to feel safe. The prettiest crystals are hidden in the depths of the darkest caves. After all, so important to explore it and to learn to live in the moments.
Well, thank you, Maribelle. So you said you were starting with that song is that the first song that you've written?
Yes, that's the first one that I ever wrote and finished. I have a lot of starts to songs, but not many that I actually followed through on finishing. And I think if it weren't for the Innisfree, like, whole entire community, I definitely would never have actually gone through with finishing it.
Oh, and when you speak of the industry that way, we're talking about a community. I'm curious, is that because it helps to know who the audience is when you are writing the song, or it provides some motivation?
I think they provided an amount of belief in myself that I didn't have before. And I think they kind of helped to awaken the part of me that likes to hide, like, they allowed the part of me that likes to hide to come out and just be free and to be myself and not really care what anyone thought. And if it turned out well, it turned out well. And if it didn't, it didn't. But they always were there to push me through it. And I think that that's the part that got this whole album done too.
Terrific, terrific. So it kind of highlights that being a part of community can be a fundamental, almost necessary part for an artist to do our work, to complete our work. The song for me kind of describes a struggle inside a romantic relationship. Without wanting to get too personal, were you just coming out of a breakup or being particularly irritated with a particular someone?
Yes, so that one was for my ex-fiance, and we had a very amazing love cycle, and it was wonderful, and he was the one for that point in my life, but definitely not meant to be. And
Okay.
I think the reason I like that one is because it tells people that no matter how hard things are, it's okay to put yourself first and walk away. And I definitely at that point had decided it was time to walk away, but it was definitely still hard, and I wasn't fully, I didn't feel strong enough, but I was strong enough. And I think that it's a good thing to remember that when you're in a relationship that doesn't serve you, that it's good to take that feeling of, even if it's an ounce of strength, take it and run with it.
Uh-huh. Okay. It's an act of courage to end or walk away from a relationship. A quick note for the audience: you are invited to ask questions or perhaps tell us your observations on Maribelle's work as you wish, as you choose. The idea is that we wanted to create something more than a conversation between myself and Maribelle. We'd like it to be more of, I'll call it a salon or a living room, or something informal where perhaps you raise your hand or do some kind of signal and let us know that you have something to say. But I can tell you, speaking for Maribelle and for this event, that you are warmly invited to participate as you choose. So I'll ask, does anyone have a question for Maribelle about that particular piece? Oh, yes, Dustin. You'll want to, yes, good.
When's the first time you actually performed that one live?
Ooh, at Innisfree, actually. It was like maybe my third ever time going to the open mic, and that was in 2018.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And a kind of a side note, Maribelle, I'm not sure if it was that song, but I have a video of you outside the Innisfree on the sidewalk where if someone had a guitar, they would play and people would jam and do these free-form kind of improvisations. I do have a video of just a bit of that history. We'll see, maybe there'll be time to show it. Any other questions for Maribelle on that particular piece? Well, perhaps we're ready for the next song. And by the way, in our planning for this show, this release party, we went for the recordings. The recordings you will observe, they have the benefit of a full recording studio and multiple instruments, and we thought that we could show you, that Maribelle could show you her richest sound, her best sound with the artists of, a sore throat one day and what have you, those unpredictabilities. So Maribelle, what would your next song be?
The next song is going to be one that's pretty out of the ordinary for me. It is Masquerade, so it's going to be one that's really fun to get up and dance to, so I invite you all to, even if you turn your camera off and dance or turn it on and dance, let us see you having fun. This one is one that my producer and I worked really hard on pretty equally because he hadn't done much music like this, but we took an acoustic song and turned it into this, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it.
Okay.
Masquerade.
Tripped up on your masquerade, I saw the mask and didn't run. I thought that it was cute, but really you were just having fun. I don't know how I got so close. It didn't show the truth that I knew. You found out how just to play those games so well. Yeah, you found a way, and I fell for you. Now I know the game, and now I won't fall again. No, 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 not going down that road. No, 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 not going down that road again. My friend, thank you for the lessons, but it's time I go and find my soul again. Got sick of the pity parade, hanging on to what was done. It's time that I align with what I really want. I don't know how we got so close. Almost chose to marry you. Love and infatuation can get confused. Love and infatuation can get confused. Love and infatuation can get confused. You play those games so well, yeah, you found a way, and I fell for you. Don't let competition.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, thank you, Maribel.
Thank
All
you.
right.
So that piece is so danceable and catchy, and I love the chorus you have of that no, 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 no. I wonder how did that evolve or develop in the recording studio? Because I don't get the idea that well, it's not a vocal with one guitar. So how did that build? What happened?
So we'd gotten through the whole album and we'd recorded everything, and that song was originally an acoustic that was very slow and not fast at all. And I asked him to hear the filter on one of my voices just to get an idea of what it would sound like kind of synthesized. And he did it and I liked it. And then he messed around with it and kind of played with fake sounds just to see before we put drums in the whole album if that one really needed it. And so we spent about 8 hours one day in the studio on this one song, going through and picking through thousands and thousands of different sounds, trying to find which ones sounded well with the synthesized voice. And we decided to do something different just to give it a little flair, something people could kind of dance to at a festival or just in the car. But just it really evolved when just kind of getting out of both of our comfort zones was the idea. We both kind of were like, well, if we're going to get out of our comfort zones, we might as well keep pushing. And so we kept kind of pushing it, and eventually it turned into that. I think if anyone ever heard the original, they'd be a little confused as to how it turned into that, but it did.
Mhm.
I have a question.
Ooh.
Oh, please.
Hey, Ava.
Yeah, how many evolutions did it go through exactly? Because I remember the original, but like, wow.
Yeah, it's a good question. I would say at least 6 different versions before it ended up like that. Yeah. And I just want to give a shout out. My best friend Ava, she was in the last song on the album, which if you get a chance to get it in your hands, the last song is a spoken word piece, and all of the ohms are people that I really, really love. My friend Dre, my sister Rachel, Ava, and I all did the ohms and the singing bowls. And it's full of Reiki, so anyone who's listening to it's going to get a little touch of Reiki from me and all of us. And yeah.
So that little Reiki is available if you purchase Maribel's CD for yourself and others. And we'll put in the chat how to do that. But I love the idea that you designed Reiki into the ohms of a spoken word piece. That seems to be adding some tremendous value, spiritual and acoustic. Lovely. Maribel, I wonder if you want to acknowledge the recording studio or some of the engineers who helped you to get really a beautiful sound together.
Yeah, the guy who helped me out, his name is Ryan Coots. He works out of Cherry Pit Studios in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. And honestly, I could not have done this without him because he was so focused, so detail-oriented. He's only 23 years old, but you would not think that. He's only been doing it for 5 years, and I was amazed at how well it all just came together, and he really was so passionate about helping me get it the way that I really wanted it. And so I think all of them at the studio, especially on the days where we had to do drums and we took over the studio for 8 hours because no one else could be in the studio that day. And it all was a collaboration of all of us. And Ryan helped me with the guitar. He helped me with the bass. He did a lot of it. Ava did some piano on Sunlight, you'll hear. So it was definitely, and Josh Ellis on drums. He's someone who I met working through Starbucks. It all kind of just plopped into place when I came home from Colorado.
Oh, fabulous.
Thanks to all of you.
Fabulous. Does anyone else have a question about that particular song or Maribel's process for that song?
Where are you submitting it so that you become a top chart pop star? I was listening, I just want you to know, I was listening to it in the car today with Jordan, a baby who moved to Portland, and we love it. We were bopping to it in the car, and we were like, this is the one that gets Maribelle on the top of the charts. This is the go. Where are you submitting?
So eventually it will be on Spotify and Apple Music. I haven't thought about like submitting it to radio stations yet, just because I haven't mentally made it that far. The CDs just came and I got so overwhelmed about shipping them, but I'm so excited to, and I can't wait to now. I'm excited now for all of the shipping part. I got it down. So once all of the CDs have sold, I will be putting it on Spotify.
Wonderful.
And Apple Music.
Okay, and Maribelle, I'm guessing that if someone present or if somebody knows someone who is particularly expert or talented in social media and perhaps in musical social media, would you be open to that conversation?
Oh goodness, yes. That is one part that I was meant to be born in the 20s. I am not technologically savvy with the social media, so any help is very, very much welcome.
Okay, excellent. Did you have another song queued up that we might hear from your new album?
Yeah, I would absolutely love for my mom to pull up Evolve or Repeat. This one is a really important song to me because it has a lot to do with what's going on in our world right now. And this is really the song that kicked the whole album into gear because it has to do with 2020. And so I was determined to get it out before 2020 was over. And so this song really is it has a lot to do with the Black Lives Matter protests, with the entire encompassing of all of the division that's gone on in our world and how we can kind of come together through it all and help each other heal even if the rest of the world's going crazy.
Okay.
So with that, Mother.
Evolve or repeat. Do something new, we'll take a backseat. How do we change this humanity? Evolve or repeat. What do we do with what we see and hear? And now, here and now. Are you holding that privilege to close? Are you hoping this will all just blow over? So normal can return to you. Normal can return to you. Are you getting involved or putting up walls? Are you willing to listen? Help, help, help the children. Ask the harder questions. It's a 2020 wake-up call. It's a 2020 wake-up call. No snooze for you, no way to fall back to sleep. This is reality. Here's my message to you. Be the change we need to see. Be the change we need. Be the change we need to see. Be the change you seek. What do you see happening? Can you change your train of thought? Be more open to the power of thought. Can you ground, breathe with me now? Can you raise your vibrations? vibrational restoration. Healing sounds, angels all around. Fix your demonstrations, become a role model now. A model of peace and unity, healthy living. This is our chance to see humanity needs humility. We've been asleep too long, we know that we're stronger. Divided we perish, but change will you choose to cherish? Speak up and be seen. I love you, starbeams. Evolve or repeat. Do something new or take a backseat. How can we change our reality? Evolve or repeat. Today's a new day and you're a new you. Wander into unknown territory, fearless.
Thank you guys. Thank you all.
Well, the title and the chorus of that song, Evolve and Repeat, was apparently significant enough for you that you chose that to be the title of your CD.
Yeah.
I wonder how early in the process of producing the CD did that song title or the song itself become so prominent for you for making the CD?
I think, that's a good question. I would say that it became the most important when it really hit me that is the question we're being asked right now by the universe is, do we evolve or do we repeat? Because there's so much going on in this world right now that we can choose to ignore it. We can choose to do what we've always done and take care of ourselves and take care of just the people we care about. But at the end of the day, every single person you meet, you could be making their day. You could be changing people's lives, and by doing so, becoming more aware of other people and having empathy. And I think the pandemic too, just like the amount of empathy that has produced in people and kind of awoken, I think that it really became the message of the whole album, because at the end of the day, I love the songs that I've written and I love all of the ones on it, but the Evolve or Repeat really hit home when I saw that was the question a lot of people seemed to be being asked, was like, do we just do the same thing? Or do we really learn how to be different and how to awaken ourselves and be more aware of others? And like, we have responsibility right now to heal this world, and we just finally got through the scary part of it seems, at least in my opinion, and now we finally get to start healing people. And hopefully this album will help people heal. Hopefully the effects it has will spread. I really hope that more people try to come out with some music that has a lot to do with what's going on right now and how we can get through it together, because that's honestly, in my opinion, the only way. Even if we can't be face to face, it takes all of us, and it takes a community.
Right. It's a powerful message. Does anyone have any questions for Maribelle or observations on that particular song?
This is Chelsea. I don't know if I have any questions. I just, I love the song. I'm finally glad that I could get in. Zoom was giving me a stupid error. But, I mean, even just the release party, this is awesome. And if you had just done this locally, I wouldn't have been able to come. So, I just really love it. And each song makes me more and more happy. And I want the CD now. I wanted it before, but now I'm like, okay, I should send you my address.
Yes, please. I'm so happy you made it in. I love you, Chelsea. Thank you.
Hi. So this
Hi.
is Amanda. Hi, sister. So when I heard this song for the first time, sitting in my living room the other day, I cried and just felt like so many of the conversations that we've had in Circle about your voice and about the vision that you get through the Holy Fire and through this message of like really helping people. And it fucking made me cry so much because it was like such a beautiful gift to be able to witness your journey from the moment that I met you to watching you grow and evolve and learning with you and from you and sharing with you and to see where you are today, girl. I feel all of that in this, especially in this song. And I'm so proud of you, Maribelle. I'm so inspired by you and I'm so grateful to you because this is the frequency that will make a difference and will shift the cellular composition and restore the cells from this fear that is wreaking the world. And it is exactly what you're doing. It is exactly what you're doing that is going to make that difference. And I'm so proud of you, baby. I'm so proud of you, sister.
Now you're
Good
gonna
work.
make me cry.
Can we acknowledge Amanda's statement with whatever form of applause? Amanda, that was such a powerful, heartfelt words that you said. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sister. It has been a journey, and genuinely, I wouldn't have found my voice again if it weren't for my Reiki community. I have to give them a shout out too, because Reiki healing has honestly saved my life, and if it weren't for that, my voice would have stayed shut. I wouldn't have healed from any of my traumas. I wouldn't have been singing about healing. I would not feel comfortable being on a screen and everyone being here for me, because that's super weird but awesome. And I am just so grateful that there have been people like you, Amanda, and all of you in my poetry community and my family that have just gotten me through. And I'm so thankful to have people who have been there from the beginning that can see how hard it was, because it wasn't just an album that I made and put out in the world. And just having people be there that have seen it all means a ton to me. So thank you so much for that. I'm in awe. I'm crying now. Thank you.
Well, lovely.
My
Lovely.
work here is done.
Oh, I love you.
There's something in Maribel in what you just shared. You talked about the importance of Reiki and healing in your creative process, your songwriting process. Could you speak perhaps something of, I don't know, maybe it's a before and after, before you found Reiki or before you found whichever of the of the helping modalities, the healing modalities. Where were you? Maybe in your health, if you choose to share, or in your spirit, if you choose, and how have you delivered yourself to a place of strength and hear this creativity of this wonderful CD?
Yeah.
How'd you do it?
It's been a journey. I will tell everyone it's not easy, but it's worth it. And I have come a long way. I almost lost my ability to sing at 13. I had a pretty traumatic event where my vocal cords were crushed. And I don't talk about it much anymore, and I won't go too deep into it because it does have a lot of trigger warnings that I won't put people through. But the moral of the story is that years later down the line, I was still so afraid to sing. And I could feel it just like wrapped around me that I just couldn't let it out. And one day, my sister bought me tickets to a music festival called Shamanic Boom. And I went, and it was full of healers of all kinds, people who do matrix energetics, people who do Reiki healing, people who do shamanic work, people who do dance movement to get trauma out through dance, and people who use their song to let their voices be free again. And even if it's just making noise that doesn't sound great, it was all exercises and ways for us to get in touch with our true power and self. And those people led me on the path of Reiki, and Amanda was the one who led the leading ceremonies. And I saw her and I knew at that moment that she would be my teacher. And I went into it not knowing totally what it was, but my whole life I had this feeling of knowing what was wrong with people and kind of wanting to help but not knowing how, and kind of just going like this but not really knowing why. And so eventually I found out that Reiki is sent through your hands, and it is a healing modality that really works to shift the vibrations of the self and where we hold our trauma. And I was holding so much trauma that I just didn't want to let go of, and it was like my safety belt. And when I finally let my voice come out during one of our Reiki trainings, I felt that sense of freedom, and it was like I could breathe again. And that was when I really started writing a lot of the newer songs. I mean, a lot of the songs on here were written while I was in Colorado, but the festival was in the festival was in Wyoming, and then everyone that I met was in Colorado. And along the way, I had multiple healers that worked with me and really went deep into all the things that I'd ever been through and felt. And I think it's important work for everyone to do for themselves one day, because we can live in this normal society, but there's really no fun in that because you don't get to see the magic. And I think that to get to the magic, it takes work, and it takes really seeing yourself and really knowing what you're accountable for, and taking that and being willing to hold compassion for yourself, because that compassion will heal you and in turn heal the rest of the world, because people will feel it. And I think that the thing about Reiki is you can use it on yourself every day, but you can also just send it out into the world. And I have felt the difference on so many levels, just seeing how things manifest, seeing how my friends feel better when they're around me, when I'm in a good mood, when I intentionally go into a situation actually trying to send out positive vibrations. And I really hope everyone at some point in their life gets to experience Reiki, gets to experience some sort of energetic healing where they get to look at themselves and say, it's okay that I did all of those things. It's okay that I made those choices that didn't end well. It's okay that these things happened to me, and I may have been a victim, but I will not be a victim for the rest of my life because of it. And I think that that is a huge part of this album too, is because I could keep repeating victim mentalities and going and being woe is me, so much has happened, but I could also take it and empower people with it, and take it and teach everyone that no matter what happens to you, you can overcome it and you can find yourself again, and it can be something you've never known.
Wow. Yes, I think that deserves some acknowledgement in whatever way you want to move your hands. Wow, Maribelle, that's a very powerful message, that we need not stay in our victimhood or victimness. We can transcend. And your album, your songs are proof of that, evidence of that. I'm wanting to be mindful of the time. We've told people 45 minutes to an hour or so, a relatively brief show. Is there another song that you would like to share before we complete for this particular event?
Yeah, let me think. I think Lovely Luna, because if it's okay with everyone, when you hear the howls, I would love it if you unmuted and howled with it. For those of you who know me, I'm a wolf at heart, and I would love you to join in on that part.
Okay, so you may want to turn on your microphones as we listen to Lovely Luna.
Make sure you're sharing through the sound, Mama. Thank you to my mother, by the way, who took on the responsibility of hosting this whole thing technologically last minute.
Yes, thank you, Karen.
There's only 5 more hours till the daylight comes. There are meteor showers, shooting stars up above. Can you see them fly? Do you watch them tonight? 'Cause I can't seem to shut my eyes. Can you feel the air? It's thinning. Close your eyes, come back to the beginning. I can feel the tables turning. Turning. From all the lessons that we're learning, intentions that we're setting. On this full moon, lunar, you are what's getting us There's only 3 more hours till the daylight comes. Singing by the fire, asking God to show us love. Can I dream clear tonight with my eyes wide open? The moonlight, she blinds us, the tired eyes are driven. How can she answer us if we're not calling? Found ourselves a new best friend. She's always there, consistent. Travels the world all distances, magnifying wishes. Luna, you are what's getting us There's only one thing left to do as the daylight arrives. Say goodbye to the moon and watch the sun rise and high. Say goodbye to our friends till the next full moon ascends. Say goodbye to your friends, knowing it's just a new beginning.
Thank you, guys. That made my heart so much lighter.
Any question or comment on Lovely Luna, the song we just heard?
I'm gonna have to get a CD player so I can play it.
Yeah. I promise it's worth it to buy a
I
CD
believe
player.
you. I know it is. I've been there.
Oh.
All right. I only have about 2% of my battery left, but I've started listening to the CD as I went into work today. It's amazing. I wanted to know what made you want to bring in the howling sounds in that song?
Well, that one is all about the moon. It's about moon ceremonies and dancing around fires with friends. That one really I wrote mainly for Mackenzie Kumer, who, rest in peace, is no longer with us. And she just lightened every day I saw her, no matter how hard things were. And her way of letting things out was howling. And my way of letting things out is also howling. I think that there's a power in just like letting it go and bringing out your animal self and letting it all just go free into the world, into the moon, and giving it all up to the universe. And howling's just my way. My wolf is my spirit animal. And yeah, I don't know. My wolf tribe finds me somehow.
Maribel,
Yeah.
Maribel, wasn't there a time when people were going out like at 7 or 8 o'clock at night to howl, so that, especially when we've all been isolated, it was a way to connect everybody across the world?
Yeah, and it went global, and I think that is powerful too. Just like the fact that we're not all alone, and that howling into the abyss is sometimes also our way of connecting. Especially in Boulder, I know that it's bigger there, but it got all over the world.
Yay.
I think the howling, Karen, as you pointed out, it was a way to honor some of the healthcare workers who were have been seen as being heroic in their efforts to save lives. So I was told in New York City there was a particular hour where people would howl or shout their thank yous. I'd like to be mindful of the time, that we respect what we intended, which was to have it be relatively brief, a 45-minute to an hour show. I'd like to point out that there is a weekly gathering of writers, poets, musicians, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. And a link to that, which would occur in about an hour, we're coming upon 7 p.m. At 8 p.m., you can see Marilyn, you can see more of Maribelle on the Poets Zoom. It has a more formal name. I'm not giving it the proper name. It came out of Writer's Block, which was actually a physical gathering before the pandemic. And you could find a link to what will occur an hour from now. If you'd like to see more of Maribelle, look in the chat. Oh, I see it. It's from, oh dear, he put it privately to make it available. So I'm going to do, if it works, a very quick cut and paste so that to everyone let's see if the link. Okay, there's an open mic at 8 p.m. and you'll find it in the chat. I've just placed it in there. Oh, I see Kolya saying good night. Everyone, thank you so very much for attending. Maribelle, do you have a few more words for our audience?
Yeah, I'll say I am so grateful for all of you and for supporting me, and for anyone who's had the ability to donate to the GoFundMe. I have received so much more support than I ever expected, and I am just in awe and so grateful. I could not have asked for all of the love and support I've gotten, and I am so happy to have all of you in my life and on this journey with me, because I definitely couldn't do it without all of you. And I hope that all of you along the way are inspired to get in touch with your own creativity, because I think creativity is going to be what heals our world, that and compassion. So if I leave you with anything, please just go and do something nice for someone you've never met before. And if you'd like a CD, call me, text me if you have my number. If you don't, Facebook message me, Maribelle Holmes. I also have a Facebook page called Maribelle's Music. And then I have a YouTube channel under Maribelle Holmes, as well as soon I'll be on Spotify, I promise, guys. I just have to get all the CDs out first, and then I will take on that challenge. So I love you all. I'm so grateful for you all. I hope you all have wonderful evenings. And if you get a chance to come write with us any Wednesday night, it's honestly one of the most healing things I've ever done. And the reason for a lot of these songs getting finished too. So with that, I mean, I would also like to thank Ira for being the host, for taking on this event. And he has a show that I hope will now be going virtual at some point, the Ira List Show. If you have a chance to go on YouTube and check that out, please do, because he is amazing and he interviews some awesome people. And yeah, I don't know. Thank you so much, all of you. I love you all.
Love you.
And we love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Hi, lovies.
Thank you,
Brava.
Maribelle. This was amazing.
Thank you for coming. You're amazing. All right. Bye,
Brava,
guys.
brava.
Bye.
Bye.